Alright, so I got this generator, Generac RS 5500. Customer brought it to me because he just had it at a place to be serviced, and he picked it up and he said it didn't run. The guy didn't want to deal with it, I guess, that he picked it up from. So all I did right away was turn the fuel on, and look at right away, it's pouring fuel out of the air box. And that just means that your needle valve is most likely stuck in your carburetor, so it's blowing right out. So this thing needs a carburetor clean, a little R&R. So we're going to shut the fuel back off so it doesn't keep dumping fuel all over the place. There we go. And it'll take a minute for it to stop, but look, it's already stopping. It's already slowing down. And we're going to take everything apart and clean through this carburetor. So you can see all the moisture at the bottom of the air box from the fuel. The air filter, everything else is nice and dry, and nothing wrong with it. No tears. It's not saturated. If this thing was saturated in fuel, you would definitely want to clean it out, dry it out really super good, or just simply replace it. But it's coming out of the overflow, and it's just filling up the bottom of the air box. We'll clean all that out, but we're going to start by taking these two bolts out here, 10mm bolts, and getting this air box off and out of the way so we can access the carburetor a little bit better. So right here in this jelly container, you can see in the very bottom of this fuel sample I took out, the very bottom was actually, it's water. You can see where it's different there, and that all came out of the carburetor. The rest came out of the fuel tank, and it's definitely cloudy, but it's not terrible. I think what's in the tank can be stabilized with fuel stabilized and it'll be all right. But what was in the carburetor, with that water that's in the bottom, that's what's causing the issues and what's creating electrolysis inside of the carburetor and causing the needle valve to get stuck and gum up. I popped the carburetor bowl off, and you could definitely see some sediment on the bottom there. It was kind of all around where this jet is that goes in the bottom. It holds the bowl on, and we're gonna take this little pin out. We're gonna remove that pin, remove the float bowl off of there, get the needle valve out, and clean all throughout this entire carburetor. We're also going to remove the idle adjustment screw and move this here to access that jet as well. So here's the float bowl, or the float rather, and the needle valve. So it's a little bit of crust on the end. Usually when it's on the rubber, I don't do too much with it. I'll clean it just with my fingers, just to wipe it a little bit. But the needle itself actually looks okay, and there's no crazy pitting. It wasn't super stuck inside there, but it definitely had some sediment, creating an issue. So we're gonna put carburetor cleaner and compressed air through this inlet here, which is your fuel line in, which will come out of the spot where that needle valve is, and it'll clear out any debris that's inside that port. So you can see I already took the idle adjust screw out that goes inside there. Basically what I do with this is I screw it in all the way till it bottoms out here, and I count every half a turn to see where it is. That way you ensure that it goes back pretty much the way it was. This was 2 turns in, so when I reinstall this, I'm going to put it back in here, I'm going to drive it all the way in, and I'm going to turn it 2 turns out. Then we want to pop this piece out. Sometimes these can be stuck in there pretty good. And sometimes they pop out pretty easily as well. But we're going to take that piece out. That one always comes out easily, typically. And then there's the actual jet in there. You want to be careful with it. It is have O-rings that seat it on. But there we go. We popped it free. Sometimes you could spray it with stuff, but yeah, you can see it has one orange O-ring on there. And it seems to be in good condition. Of course, you can't see the inside of it, but we're going to clean through it anyhow. Put that up top. And what that does, that port here does your idle circuit, your pilot jet, and your idle circuit when the machine's running. If that is dirty, it's not going to start. If that's dirty, it might run real rough at lower RPMs, and it may be good at higher RPMs, but it's important to clean through all of that. So again, I just take a carburetor cleaner, clean through that whole port. A lot of debris around this carb too. I already kind of cleaned it off, but it's a lot of staining on it too. It looks like it's full of debris. Spray through here, spray through here as well. This should come out the top. It's coming out of here as well. I saw it squirt out the top a little bit. And I'm gonna take the air hose and I'm gonna spray compressed air through every orifice as well, through every jet, and make sure we clean through it real well. Once you clean through everything, and I did clean through this jet, through that little port right there in the bottom, with carburetor cleaner and compressed air, it does become very dry. So you don't want to break that O-ring. So I always take a can of silicone spray and I spray just a little bit on there to coat that O-ring so that it does go down inside that carburetor good and it doesn't break, because you don't want it to break. Then you'll be buying a new one, but sometimes you need to anyhow if it's real brittle or bad, but this one looks to be okay. So after you put that back in, as I mentioned, we're gonna put this screw all the way in. Now you don't have to go tight with it, and remember it's plastic, you don't want it to break. You just go till it stops, till it's lightly seated right there, and we're gonna go 2 turns out. So the screwdriver is completely straight up. So we're gonna go a half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5, and 2 turns, and that's it. You're gonna leave it right there, and that's just at least a base set. You know, if the thing lopes and runs weird or doesn't idle properly, you can definitely adjust this a little bit, very little by little, and see if that changes it. But as long as you're pretty close, it's usually fine. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. We got that generator running really good. The customer is very happy with the way it ran, and we tested everything. It's always so important to make sure that if you're running a generator, working on a generator, you test everything. I didn't put like crazy heavy load on it, but a circular saw is a good enough load, you know, to just test the outlets and make sure that they simply work. So last thing you want to do is get something running like that and not check the outlets, not run anything on it. If there's any further issues, you need to make sure that everything's 100% before you call a customer, your friend, your family, whoever it is that you're working on their machine, and say, hey, it's all done, come pick it up. Then they come pick it up and say, hey, it's not done, something's wrong with it. It's not outputting power. It runs great, but it's not working properly. So definitely a very important thing to do. So, and as you can see, carburetors are a huge issue. Anything that's carbureted, it's fuel. It's ethanol fuel. It's got a shelf life of 14 days. After that, it starts to deteriorate. So it's always important, especially in things like this with generators that don't get run that very often. If you have a fuel shut off on it, turn it to off, start the machine, let it run until it runs out of fuel inside your carburetor. If it has a drain, you know, pull the drain bolt in the carburetor and let the rest of the fuel come out into a, you know, suitable, good container. You know, not all of the carburetors have a drain bowl on it, but if you simply shut the fuel off, start it up, it will burn out of the fuel in the carburetor. That way there's nothing sitting inside there. Make sure you stabilize your fuel with stabilizer. All stabilizers have, you know, the ratio that it's supposed to be on there per, you know, gallon or 10 gallons, whatever it happens to be. Go by that and just do that, and that will ensure that your fuel lasts a lot longer than 14 days. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe. It's easy, it's free, and just make sure you ring that bell for notifications so you know when I have popped my next video. So thank you for watching. Appreciate you coming by. Have a great day.